Welcome to Level Up Leadership with Rakesh, the show where emotional intelligence meets executive ambition. This is not just another leadership podcast, this is your weekly ignition point where managers evolve, careers accelerate, and real influence begins from the inside out. And if you're a mid level manager, a rising star, and a change maker tired of playing small, you're in the right place. I'm your host, Rakesh Raveendran, leadership coach and founder of Ethos Leadership Collective. Now, let's get real for a moment. Have you ever felt like you're doing amazing work, you're working hard, but somehow it goes unnoticed? You're putting in the hours, you're delivering results, you're making the difference. But when it comes to recognition, promotion, or influence in the room, your voice doesn't carry the weight it deserves. And this is something that you know it deserves. And here is the dilemma. You don't want to brag. You don't want to come across as arrogant or self-promotional, but at the same time, you're staying silent, you risk being invisible. And that's why in today's episode, we are diving into the 3 powerful ways to increase your influence without bragging. So if you have ever felt stuck between humility and visibility, stay with me. These are strategies you can apply starting today. Before we jump into the 3 strategies, let me set the stage for something I call the invisible work trap. Here's what it looks like. You believe good work speaks for itself. You think if you just keep performing, someone will eventually notice. But in reality, in today's fast-moving corporate world, extremely dynamic situation, silence equals invisibility. I've coached so many managers who worked hard. They worked harder and harder only to see others get the recognition they deserve. The truth is, the people who grow their influence aren't the ones shouting the loudest. They are the ones who communicate their impact in ways that feel authentic, human, and collaborative. So let's talk about how you can start doing that. So first strategy is share the we, not the me. One of the most practical shifts you can make is changing your language. Instead of leading with me, lead with we. For example, rather than saying, I fixed that client issue in 2 hours, you could say, our team came together and solved a client issue in record time. I was able to streamline the workflow, and that really helped. See the difference? You're still highlighting your role, but you're placing it within the bigger picture. That builds credibility, positions you as a leader who lifts others up. And a practical tip for today. In your next meeting, reframe one of your updates as we statement. Try it and notice how people respond. See what works out. And then strategy number 2 is let your question show your value. Right? Here's something most leaders overlook. Your questions are more powerful than your answers. When you ask sharp, thoughtful questions, you demonstrate leadership thinking without ever needing to self-promote. Let me give you 3 you can try. First one, like vision question would be, how does this project align with our long-term strategy? An impact question would be something like, what will success look like for our customer in this initiative? A collaboration question will look like, which team should we bring in early to make this smoother? Notice something, none of these are about you, but they show you are thinking like a leader, not just a task manager. And here is a practical tip for you today. Before your next meeting, write down 2 questions that connect the work to the bigger vision. When you ask them, people will see you as the voice of clarity and strategy. Now, strategy number 3, tell stories, not stats. In fact, I would say tell stories and back it up with facts. Number fades, but stories always stick. If you want influence, frame your results as human stories, not just metrics. Example, instead of saying we improved efficiency by 18%, say something like last quarter, one of our customers almost walked away because of delays. After reworking on the process, that same customer now calls us their fastest, most reliable team. We have made improvement by about 18%. Now you see what you've done is basically started with a story, and then in the end you backed it up with the same number of 18% improvement. Now that's influence. That's what people remember. And I'll give you a practical tip for today. Pick one recent achievement and rewrite it as a story. It should start with a problem, an action, an outcome, and then share it in your next update. Bring it all together. So let's recap quickly. Shift from me to we. Ask questions that showcase leadership thinking. Share stories, not just stats, but back the stories up with a stat. When you practice these three habits, your influence grows naturally. You don't need to brag. Your leadership presence will speak for itself. Now, here's the big picture. Increasing your influence isn't just about being seen, it's about being valued. And when you are valued, you grow, your career accelerates, and your leadership impact multiplies. That's why I created Promotion Accelerator Pack, a short free program where you can audit your career value, measure your visibility, and access tools to help you prepare for the next promotion. It's quick, it's actionable, and it's designed to make your value undeniable. The link is in the show notes, in the description below. Or if you are watching this on video, you will see it on the screen right now, and it's also available in the description. Here's my challenge to you. Don't wait for others to notice. Use these three strategies. Step into your influence and let your leadership presence shine without ever needing to brag. Thank you for joining me on this episode of EQ Pod. If you found value here, share it with a colleague who's ready to grow their leadership presence. Until next time, lead with clarity, confidence, and heart.